Dodgers fans, buckle up because today we need to talk about one of the most intriguing storylines surrounding this team as we move closer to the intensity of postseason baseball. The name at the center of all this conversation is Roki Sasaki. When he first landed in Los Angeles, it felt like the city had just received a new superstar ready to take over Major League Baseball. The hype around him was real, and for good reason. Back in Japan, Sasaki wasn't just another pitcher climbing the ranks. He was a phenomenon, a once-in-a-generation kind of arm who carried a reputation that stretched far beyond his home country. Scouts raved about his velocity, his devastating splitter, and the poise he displayed every time he stepped on the mound. So, we finally made the jump to the United States. Expectations were sky high. Dodgers fans were ready to see fireworks. But baseball has a way of humbling even the brightest talents, and Sasaki's first year in the big leagues has been nothing short of a roller coaster. It started off with flashes of brilliance, moments where you could tell this kid had all the tools to become an ace. His fastball would zip past hitters, touching triple digits on the radar gun, and you could almost feel the buzz in the stadium whenever he dialed it up. That kind of velocity, paired with his breaking stuff, is the exact recipe that makes front offices drool and fans dream of October dominance. Yet, just when things seemed to be building up, the setbacks arrived. A shoulder injury forced him out of action in May, and injuries like that always bring concern, especially for pitchers who rely so heavily on power. The Dodgers knew they had to be careful with him, so he spent more than a month rehabbing down in the minors. There, the reports were mixed. Some days the velocity was back, some days the command looked sharp, but on other outings he struggled with mechanics, leaving pitches up in the zone or missing spots entirely. For a fan base eager to see the next big thing, it was a reminder that even top-tier talents don't always adjust to the majors overnight. When he returned to the Dodgers, the conversation wasn't about him stepping right back into rotation, but about whether he could find a role out of the bullpen. That tells you just how uncertain things were. Imagine going from being the most hyped international signing of the year to suddenly fighting for a spot as a reliever in the playoffs. It's not what Sasaki envisioned when he signed, but it's the reality he faces. And let's be clear, this is not about his talent. No one questions that. This is about health, consistency, and whether he can deliver in high-pressure moments when every pitch can change a season. Friday's game against the Mariners gave us a glimpse of the Sasaki that had everyone so excited. He came in for a single inning of relief, and right from the first pitch, it was obvious that something had clicked. The fastball was electric, living at 99 to 100 miles per hour, just like the version of Sasaki fans in Japan were used to seeing. That velocity gap from his earlier struggles was gone, and it instantly changed the energy of the ballpark. He struck out 2 batters in that frame, and while he did give up a double, what mattered most was how he responded. Lesser pitchers might have unraveled, especially in that kind of situation, but Sasaki stayed composed, worked through the jam, and left the inning unscathed. That outing might not look like much on paper, just 1 inning, 2 strikeouts, no runs, but to the Dodgers coaching staff, it was more than just a box score. It was a test. Could Sasaki handle the kind of adversity he'll inevitably face in October? Could he keep his composure when things don't go his way? Manager Dave Roberts made it clear afterward that he was impressed, not just with the stuff, but with the mental toughness. For a young pitcher coming off an injury, showing that kind of resilience is exactly the sign you want heading into the postseason. Of course, the big question still lingers. Will Sasaki make the postseason roster? That's where things get complicated. Roberts didn't commit one way or the other. He kept it open, saying essentially, we'll see. That's coach speak for, we're still figuring it out. And honestly, it makes sense. The Dodgers' rotation is strong, and they don't necessarily need another starter. Where they do have a bit of a gap is in right-handed relief, and that's where Sasaki could slide in. His fastball alone makes him an intriguing option for short stints, where the team just needs him to empty the tank for an inning or 2. In that role, you don't worry as much about command across 6 or 7 innings. You just let him attack hitters and use that overpowering stuff to get outs. What makes Sasaki's case so fascinating is the balance between long-term development and short-term opportunity. On one hand, You don't want to rush him in high-pressure situations if it risks his confidence or his health. On the other hand, talent like his doesn't come around often, and October baseball is all about having weapons at your disposal. If he's throwing 100 miles per hour again and showing the same fearless demeanor we saw against Seattle, how can you not at least consider him? This is exactly the kind of arm that could change a game in October, and the Dodgers know it. It's not just the coaches who are noticing, either. Veteran Miguel Rojas had high praise for the rookie after that appearance. For Rojas, it wasn't just about the radar gun readings or the movement on Sasaki's pitches. It was about the attitude. He pointed out how Sasaki didn't shy away from the moment, how he actually seemed to embrace it, and that's something you can't really teach. When a young player shows that kind of fearlessness, it could be contagious in the clubhouse. It reminds everyone that baseball is still a game of passion, energy, and confidence. And that might be the most important piece of all this. For Sasaki, it's not just about velocity numbers or strikeout totals. It's about proving he belongs on that stage. The Dodgers don't necessarily need him to carry the pitching staff this October, but what they do need are players who aren't afraid of the moment. If Sasaki shows that he thrives under pressure, then he's giving the team another weapon to deploy, even if it's just out of the bullpen. While Roki Sasaki's story is filled with questions about the future, there is another player on this Dodgers roster who has already cemented his place in the history books, and his name is Shohei Ohtani. What he has accomplished this season is nothing short of remarkable, and if anyone still had doubts about whether he could carry his success from previous years in Los Angeles, those doubts are gone forever. On the very last day of the regular season, Ohtani stepped to the plate, and with one swing, he once again reminded everyone why he is not only the face of this franchise, but also one of the most unique talents Major League Baseball has ever seen. That swing produced his 55th home run of the year, and with it, Ohtani set a brand-new Dodgers franchise record for the most home runs in a single season. Think about that for a second. This is a team with a rich history, filled with legendary names that have worn the Dodger blue. From Duke Snider to Gil Hodges, from Gary Sheffield to Shawn Green, so many sluggers have come through this organization, and yet none of them ever hit as many homers in one season as Shohei Ohtani just did. What makes this achievement even more special is that the record he broke was his own. Last season, Ohtani had already raised the bar by hitting 54 home runs, surpassing Green's old mark of 49 from 2 decades ago. Now, just 1 year later, he pushed that standard even higher with 55, proving that what he did wasn't a one-time feat, but part of a larger, historic run. The home run itself came in the 7th inning of a game against Gabe Spear. The Dodgers were already in control, but Ohtani stepped up with 2 strikes against him and showed exactly why pitchers fear him even in disadvantageous counts. Spear fired a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, and Ohtani turned it around with an exit velocity of 109.5 miles per hour. The ball traveled 412 feet, leaving no doubt as it sailed into the stands. It wasn't just a home run, it was a statement, a final exclamation point on what has been one of the most powerful offensive seasons in the history of this franchise. That blast didn't just give him the record for the Dodgers. It also put him in a Major League Baseball history books in a way no one else has ever managed. Ohtani became the first player ever to finish a season with exactly 55 home runs. That might sound like a quirky piece of trivia, but it speaks to just how unique his journey has been. Year after year, he has continued to raise the bar for what a two-way player can accomplish. When you look at the numbers he has piled up, it almost feels unreal. Back in 2021, he hit 46. In 2022, 34. In 2023, 44. And now, in 2024 and 2025 with the Dodgers, 54 and 55. He keeps outdoing himself. And at this point, every time he steps into the box, fans are expecting something historic to happen. And the context matters here. Ohtani is not just a slugger who sits in the lineup every day. He is also a pitcher, someone who takes the mound and competes as a starter. To maintain this level of offensive production while also carrying the workload of pitching is unprecedented. No one in the long history of Major League Baseball has done what he's doing, and that's why his numbers resonate even more. According to the official records, Ohtani has now hit 109 home runs in just his first 2 seasons with the Dodgers. That total ties Alex Rodriguez's mark with the Texas Rangers in 2001 and 2002 for the second most homers by a player in his first 2 years with the franchise. The only man ahead of him is Babe Ruth, who hit 113 for the New York Yankees back in 1920 and 1921. Let that sink in. When your name is mentioned in the same breath as Babe Ruth, you are doing something extraordinary. For Dodgers fans, this run is even sweeter because before Ohtani arrived, the single-season record of 49 home runs by Shawn Green had stood since 2001. Adrian Beltre came close with 48 in 2007. Cody Bellinger nearly matched it with 47 in 2017. Gary Sheffield and Duke Snider both held the old mark at 43. But for more than 20 years, no one had been able to topple Green's crown. Then Ohtani came along and shattered it not once, but twice in back-to-back years. It's almost as if he looked at the record books, smiled, and decided to completely rewrite them. This season wasn't just about the final totals either. Ohtani was breaking records throughout the year. Before the All-Star break, he had already launched 32 home runs, which was the most by any Dodger in franchise history before the Midsummer Classic. Cody Bellinger held that previous record with 30 in 2019, but Ohtani left that in the dust. He also set marks for the most home runs through the first 86 games of season and the most by a Dodger before July, reaching 29 before the calendar even turned. The consistency of his power is what's most impressive. It wasn't a case of him getting hot for one stretch and carrying his numbers. He was locked in from April through September, delivering night after night. And here's the thing that makes Ohtani so captivating. It's not just about the raw numbers. Anyone can look up stats and see the totals. What makes him special is the way he produces them. The swing looks effortless, like he's just flicking the bat through the zone, and then the ball jumps off as if shot out of cannon. His home runs are not cheap shots that barely clear the wall. They're towering drives that leave no doubt. Every time he steps into the batter's box, there's a buzz in the stadium, a collective sense that something magical might happen. Fans hold their breath, and when he connects, it's pure electricity. That feeling is what has made Dodger Stadium such a thrilling place to be over the last 2 seasons. What stands out even more is how he balances the pressure of being both a hitter and a pitcher. Most players would struggle to carry the load of just one of those roles, but Ohtani has embraced both. He doesn't just show up as a slugger who happens to pitch sometimes, or as a pitcher who can swing the bat. He's a lead in both categories. That's why fans and analysts alike keep running out of words to describe him. He's not just rewriting records. He's redefining what's possible in the sport. The comparisons to legends like Babe Ruth will always be there, but in many ways, Ohtani has carved out his own path. Ruth never faced the kind of global spotlight Ohtani carries today. Every move Ohtani makes is scrutinized. Every at-bat is tracked. Every start is analyzed by fans around the world. And yet, he thrives under that weight, treating it not as pressure, but as an opportunity to showcase his unique gift. That's what makes this run of 55 home runs feel like more than just a number. It feels like a cultural moment, something that will be remembered years from now when people talk about this era of Dodgers baseball. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Whispers have been circulating through the locker rooms and press boxes of Major League Baseball, and if the rumors hold true, the Los Angeles Dodgers might just have unearthed a gem that could redefine their future. Julio Urias, long admired for his precision on the mound, is suddenly being spoken of in hushed, excited tones as the next big star. No, the crack that the Dodgers have been waiting for. The chatter isn't coming from casual fans. Insiders, former players, and analysts alike are all hinting that Urias could be about to write a chapter in Dodgers history that fans will never forget. Sources close to the team suggest that the young pitcher's recent performances have not gone unnoticed. Every fastball, curveball, and slider seems to carry a new level of confidence, a quiet assertion that Urias is ready to step out of the shadows and take center stage. There's talk that the Dodgers coaching staff has been quietly restructuring strategies to leverage his unique skills, signaling a shift in the team's approach that could shake up the National League. Some even speculate that URÍAS could be poised for accolades typically reserved for seasoned veterans, igniting conversations about awards and playoff heroics long before the season truly hits its stride. The buzz isn't just about his stats. While they're impressive, it's about the aura that surrounds him on and off the field. Fellow players reportedly speak of his work ethic with almost reverential admiration, and fans who've glimpsed his practice routines claim there's something magnetic about his presence. Could this be the year the Dodgers finally crown a new face of the franchise? Rumors swirl that front office discussions are already heating up over contract extensions and marketing campaigns, aiming to cement URÍAS as a household name. Whether these whispers are inflated or grounded in truth, one thing seems certain. Julio Urias is capturing imaginations. If the murmurs in the baseball world are anything to go by, the Dodgers might just be on the brink of a story that will be told for generations. A story that begins with a young pitcher ready to claim his place in history. Fans are holding their breath, insiders are watching closely, and the rumor mill is spinning faster than ever. Julio Urias, the new crack, might already be on his way to Dodgers legend. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.